Hey guys, Probable1701, and today we are going to talk about some classic Doctor Who, and we're going to be taking a look at Doctor Who Season 16, which was Tom Baker's fifth season. Yes, fifth season. And it was the middle season of the Graham Williams producing era, which is very hit or miss. Seasons 15, 16, and 17 are mixed bags. The golden age of Tom Baker is usually considered his first three seasons, the Philip Hinchcliffe era, seasons 12, 13, and 14, which are pretty much flawless across the board for the most part. Some people I know in 12 have issues with Revenge of the Cybermen. I personally love that story. Whereas I personally have issues with the android invasion in season 13. And while most people don't seem to hate it, most people don't seem to care for it. It seems in the middle for me. I never hear much about it. I don't care for it. But seasons 15, 16, and 17 generally have highs and lows. And season 18 is kind of a beast by itself altogether. It's kind of its own thing. But the Key to Time Special Edition is basically season 16. It actually has a seasonal arc a lot like modern Who. Classic Who didn't have the seasonal arcs really like modern Who does. Classic Who, each story was just kind of its own thing. They didn't really connect a lot. Every now and then you had stories kind of overlapping, like the E-Space trilogy and the Black Guardian trilogy, and a couple other instances, like Tom Baker's last couple of episodes with Peter Davison's first act as a rough trilogy. But for the most part, they were standalone. But this time we actually have a whole seasonal arc in season 16, which basically consists of Tom Baker and his new companion, Romana. And this is the first version of Romana we see, played by Mary Tamm, and my favorite version of her. Searching for the various segments to the Key to Time. And the Key to Time is this very powerful artifact featured right here on the cover, which has, in the wrong hands, can be very dangerous naturally. And in the right hands, just needs to be assembled every now and then to keep the balance in the universe all set up so things don't fall apart. Or some sort like that. And it's made up of 6 pieces, and each story is the Doctor trying to recover another piece. Like I said, the season has its highs and lows. I do like this little box set that's got all of them in it. It's pretty nice. We have a little booklet here. DVD extras and stuff. This little 7 disc set, 'cause I think Armageddon Factor has 2 discs because it's kind of a special edition. The first story is the Ribos Ribos, I forget. And I just watched this recently. I should know this. I really like this one though. It's got some humorous moments, some good action in it. A couple of the characters, the 2 swindlers, do a little bit of overacting. It's kind of amusing and kind of irksome, but the story's good. It's a good script. I think Mary Tamm and Tom Baker have good chemistry. They have some really fun moments together, like when he shortens her name, and she doesn't like the shortened name of Romana, and he's like, it's either Romana or Fred, and she's like, I prefer Fred. He goes, right, come on, Romana. The way they play that whole scene is funny, but I actually do enjoy this one. It's one of the stories in the season I really do like and do recommend. The second story is The Pirate Planet, which is written by Douglas Adams of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fame. And I do love me some Douglas Adams. And I like this story a lot. Where the key is really neat. Some of the setup is neat. I really like the pirate captain. He's written kind of funny. This is, kind of that Tom Baker era where things were a little more campy. But it works really well here. I love the pirate captain, the half-robotic pirate captain. Mr. Fibley! By the 7 moons! It's hilarious. It's overacting, but it's done in a positive way that I really enjoy and just helps make the story a lot of fun. And the captain's plan to free himself from the situation he's in with the little collection he has is actually really ingenious. I really like that, the way it's done. And Tom Baker's reaction to it when he's down there and the captain is showing him his experiment he's working on, and Tom Baker's reaction of, what is it for? The way Tom does that is so really well acted. And is definitely one of the reasons why he's my favorite Doctor. He really is amazing. But I love this one. This is easily also one of my favorite episodes of the season, if not my favorite. Stones of Blood's a little bit of a letdown. I don't care for much for this one. This was actually Tom Baker's 100th story. So celebrating its 100 stories. But this one's a little bit of a letdown. The little stone monsters don't do much for me. It's very predictable too. The person who's behind things was very predictable, and I saw that coming. One of the actors in their cult he kind of overacts a bit too, where you're like, ugh. And then there is one thing it does well. There's another location they go to for part of the story that I think is a really neat concept and executed really well. And I wouldn't mind seeing something like that happen again. But it involves a ship, and it's really neat the way they do it, why it's there. It really plays in the story. And I think that's executed nicely. So while I'm not a big fan of this story, I don't hate the story. It's just not one I can watch every now and then. I just watch it every blue moon. I do think the older lady, and I don't know her name, I liked her in the story. She did a good job. And then moving up after that, we have the Androids of Tara. This one is interesting for me because I really liked it the first time I saw it, but when I rewatched it recently, I don't hate it. It's just kind of meh. It has a lot of Romana and the damsel in distress thing, and getting captured and getting rescued and getting captured again, that I'm sure Mary Tam was a little frustrated with, because I'm sure she wanted her character to do more. Because she's a Time Lord. Romana's a Time Lord. She's intelligent. She's inexperienced and a little naive, but very smart. Excuse me. And seeing her reduced to the having to get rescued and all that all the time, I'm sure wore on her and could have contributed to why she only stayed for a season. But I still like the story. I just don't love the story as much as I did the first time. And then we have The Power of Kroll. Oh my God, this story's awful. This one is awful. I think it's the worst Tom Baker story. I literally adamantly hate this story. I didn't like it the first time I watched it, and I'd forgotten how much I disliked it until the second time I watched it recently. I'm like, well, that's that much of my life I'm never getting back. It's bad. The story is bad. The execution is bad. The effects are bad. The makeup is bad. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Definitely the low point for the season, and probably my least favorite Tom Baker story, and probably one of the worst Doctor Who stories ever done. It's awful. Avoid it. And then we have the season finale, The Armageddon Factor, which is a 6-parter. I actually really enjoy this one. I know sometimes it seems like online people seem to have issues with it, and I can't figure out why. I really like this one a lot. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it fills its 6 episodes well. It doesn't feel overly long like some 6-parters do. I think it's done well. I think the guest stars, for the most part, do well. There's one that kind of overacts a little bit anytime he uses his weapon, which is silly. But for the most part, I think the actors all do their jobs well. I think the villain of the story is executed well. This is the first time we see Lalla Ward, who would go on as Princess Astra, who would go on to play the second incarnation of Romana the next season. She does fine. Tom Baker's in good form. I love this. This is another one of those where Tom Baker, even if he's not sure what's going on, you always feel like he's the smartest one in the room, and that he never panics and he's going to get control of the situation, which I like. And the whole bit where they stick everything in the time loop to kind of give them time to work on things is really nice. As the countdown gets lower and lower in the time loop, so where you can see where the time loop is stretching, where it's only going to last for so long. That's executed really well. But I really enjoy the Armageddon Factor. I think it's a good season finale. I think it's a really good season finale, and I really enjoyed it. Plus, this set actually does come with a bonus disc with extra features on it that I really enjoyed. So that's season 16. It has its highs and its lows. I do hope we don't get it for a while in the classic Blu-ray section. The Blu-ray collection, the Doctor Who The Collection Blu-ray that they're doing right now. We seem to be getting one Tom Baker a year. We already got season 12, and then last year we got season 18, and this year in just a couple months we'll have season 14. And so I'm hoping we don't get 16 for a while. I'm pretty sure we won't get 13 next year, because I'm pretty sure they don't want to have 12, 13, and 14 out so early, since that is kind of Tom's best seasons, really. And 18's already out, so I'm pretty sure next year we'll get either 15, 16, or 17. And I'm hoping it's either 15 or 17, because while I like 16, I already have all of these episodes in a box set, so I'm willing to wait on that. I'd much rather get 15 and 17 because I don't have all of those episodes on DVD yet. And season 17 does have my favorite Doctor Who episode of all time in it, City of Death. I love City of Death. Tom Baker at his Tom Bakerist. And while seasons 15 and 17, like 16, do have their ups and downs, I would just rather have those, to be honest, because I think their highs are a little higher. Like I love season 15 has Horror of Fang Rot, which is one I really love, and Sunmakers, which I really like. As I'm partial to that one from my childhood. I saw it when I was little. I had the Target book when I was little. So I'd rather get 15 or 17 next, and then maybe 16 kind of toward the end of the Blu-ray release, simply because I already have the box set. But season 16 is still good. It's still Tom Baker. He's still great in it. I still recommend watching all of it except The Power of Crow. Watch that one once just because it's part of the seasonal arc. Never watch it again. That's my advice. Anyway, this is Probable 1701. Don't forget to check out my main channel, Probable 1701, where I review lightsaber hilts and replicas and talk about other Star Wars related stuff. And once again, thank you for watching.